Opening up Pandora's Box, a well-known saying that I am sure you will recognise. In modern times, it is a phrase that is used to suggest allowing trouble or complications into a situation. But the origin of the phrase is much more literal, an explanation in Greek mythology of how evil was able to enter our world. But who was Pandora? And should she really carry the blame for opening that famous box? Let's find out together, right now. To understand the origins of this myth, we need to go back to the beginning of mankind and the time before where only gods and titans existed. Our story begins with two titan brothers, Prometheus and Epimetheus. Prometheus possessed the power of prophecy that revealed to him the fate of his kind, that Zeus would defeat all the titans. Deciding to cut out the middleman, the Titan brothers instead pledged their loyalty directly to Zeus. Zeus was pleased and rewarded their loyalty by granting them the task of creating the first creatures to live on the earth. Epimetheus formed the animals and gave each a special skill and form of protection. Prometheus took his time moulding man and was left with no forms of protection since Epimetheus had already given them all away. Prometheus knew man needed some form of protection and asked Zeus if he could give man fire. Zeus angrily refused, stating simply that fire was only for the gods. Prometheus ignored the command, however, and granted man fire anyway. Zeus was furious and punished Prometheus with a particularly grisly method involving eagles and livers that forms the basis of another famous tale from Greek mythology, one that we will tell a different day. However, despite the horrors of his famed torture, Zeus was still not content that it was enough. The thunder god also believed that mankind should be punished for their part in the crime, daring to accept the gift of fire. Enter Pandora, the first woman on earth. Zeus ordered the creation of a woman, her form moulded from clay as she was brought to life. Each of the gods granted her a gift: wisdom, beauty, kindness, peace, generosity and health. Thus her name in Greek means the one who bears all gifts. Presenting this glorious creature to Epimetheus as his new wife, the Titan, despite being warned by his brother to suspect the trickery of Zeus, was unable to resist, struck as he was by the beauty of Pandora. As a wedding present, Zeus gave Pandora a box, warning her to never open it, but not explaining why. Pandora, who had been gifted curiosity during her creation, was destined to be unable to resist, fulfilling the purpose of her formation, just as Zeus had designed. As she lifted the lid, she was immediately overcome with an intense fear as all the evils of the world were released: greed, envy, hatred, pain, hunger, poverty, war, death, the list goes on. Realizing quickly what a terrible mistake she had made, Pandora slammed the lid down. Only one thing remained in the box, unable now to escape: hope. Thus, Pandora is now remembered as the woman who allowed all the evils into the world. But how much can she really be blamed? Created out of spite by an angry god, moulded in such a way as to react exactly as expected and open the box. Was her fate ever truly her own? A fascinating myth, and another great example of how these ancient stories continue to influence our world today. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more great stories. Cheers.